you. Manisri Ayodhya Rami Reddy Allah.
Thank you, Deputy Chairman, sir, for allowing me to share a few of my thoughts on the proposed amendments to the Post Office Bill 2023. Sir, there haven't been any amendments to this Colonial Act in the past 125 years, and I appreciate the introduction of such an essential piece of legislation in Parliament. There are few positives of this amendment. This bill increases the authority of the central government to intervene in such situations involving vital aspects such as security, maintaining public order, responding to emergencies, and ensuring public safety. More specifically, the bill allows for the interception, examination, or temporary detention of any item in transit through the postal system under the aforementioned circumstances. Such a provision can be a game changer in terms of countering illicit smuggling and unauthorized transportation of drugs and contraband products via postal services. Thus, I applaud this positive approach in addressing the evolving nature of threats and risks associated with the postal network. Flexibility in pricing. There is also an enhanced pricing flexibility is considered in this bill, which is critical, especially in the context of an increasingly competitive business, which lets the postal services promptly respond to the market's ever-changing expectations. Furthermore, the services' independent pricing allows it to stay adaptable in the face of changing economic situation. The ability to alter service charges and pricing structures allows the department to ensure that its service remain affordable, accessible, and sustainable, even with economic conditions getting changed. In essence, this empowerment aligns with the Postal Department's mandate to deliver a diverse spectrum of citizen-centric services. Also, generalizing the nomenclature of interception of parcels. Sir, in contrast to the outdated provisions of the existing 1898 Act, the bill introduces significant shift in its approach to the interception of objects within India's postal system. The key distinction is in the usage of technology, wherein the present Act explicitly defines seized postal products as those carrying explosive, dangerous, filthy, noxious, or deleterious substances, while the new bill, on the other hand, has broader and more inclusive phrasing. Recent data shows an increase in security threats and illegal activities related to postal system, not only in India but also globally. This purposefully change in terminology serves an important purpose as it broadens the scope of interception beyond the constraints of specified items, embracing a broader range of potential security threats and criminal activity involving mail shipments. By taking a more general stance, the measure recognizes the changing nature of security concerns. However, there are certain problems pertaining to this bill, and I would like to highlight a few of them, and I provide my suggestions to this. Powers relating to interceptable postal articles. It lacks procedural safeguards, raising concerns about potential violation of individuals' freedom of speech, expression, and privacy. Additionally, the ground of emergency as a basis for interception may surpass reasonable restrictions outlined in the Constitution. The term emergency lacks a precise definition, providing a broad scope for interception. This goes against constitutional principles established by the Supreme Court and requires more clarity. Exemption from liability for lapses in services, that also need to be looked at. The removal of offences and penalties. The absence of provisions for offences and penalties as they were removed in Jan Vishwas Act 2023 remains another issue. As per the earlier Act, various offences committed by officers of a post office, which included the illegal opening of postal articles by a postal officer were punishable. However, now such actions would have effectively no consequences. It raises questions about ensuring the privacy of individuals and may have adverse implications. Regulation of courier enterprises. Although the bill gives India Post Authority to improve its postal service operation, it is critical to recognize that regulatory environment for courier enterprises is still relatively underdeveloped. This regulatory void presents a number of significant questions. Issues faced by the employees of the department, my other colleagues have mentioned, I want them to be taken note of that. The key issues affecting the functionality of the system also need to be taken into consideration, the post offices lack necessary infrastructure to function successfully as points of service and information transformation. Issues such as intermittent power supply, outdated manual operations, limited accessibility shall still remain a problem. The revenue deficit also need to be taken into account. So, while I see that there are few issues that where we have given suggestions, but we strongly believe that this amendment is coming at the right time. The passage of this bill is an important step in the restructuring of India's postal services. By repealing outdated restrictions, this act guarantees that India's postal industry stays dynamic and inclusive, successfully adapting to the encouraging changes of requirements of its varied population. With this support from YSR Congress Party, we support this bill. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Manya Ayodhya Rami Reddy ji.